Fantastic morning to you. Welcome to Good Morning Abuja on NTH and the 5 Unity session. I hope you slept well. You're up and grateful, right? I am also up and grateful. We are privileged to see this day. Yes, because many slept yesterday. They couldn't wake up this day. So forget about the failures of yesterday. Leave them there. Let them just be there. Focus on this day and put in your energy. Come up with your vibe and get your work done. My name is Loma Ibe. I am on your screen this morning. It's Good Morning Abuja. We'll begin your day on a beautiful note. Yes, we'll have motivation, we'll have exercise, we'll have interesting conversation, and so much more. So let's begin with our motivational talk this morning. Please enjoy.
Dear woman, it is time for you to stop auditioning for approval in the wrong rooms when you have already been chosen to play a great role. It is time for you to skip your excuses like you skip art on YouTube. It is time for you to rise and stop limiting yourself and playing the role that was given to you by society. So you were told that your place is in the kitchen, but who told you that you have to limit it to the kitchen that is in the house? You can go to the kitchen of entrepreneurship and cook up global solutions to feed a hungry world. You can go to the kitchen of business and come up with great businesses that will feed the global economy. You can go to the kitchen of innovative ideas and come up with innovative things that will feed the world. Don't limit yourself. Who told you you were made to be less? You are not just another gender. Inside of you is great agendas that will benefit the world. So it's time for you to rise, dear woman. It's time for you to rewrite the script you were given. It's time for you that you were made for more than just bone straight hair. Inside of you are ideas that can make the world go straight ahead into better places. So it's time for you to rise. Rise because the world is waiting for you.
Thank you very much for that superb motivational talk. So I have the job to implement now. You also have the job to implement, not just listening and enjoying the talk. What did you catch up? What did you grab? I'm sure you grabbed a thing or two. So implement them. It's so beautiful when you implement them. Thank you very much for that motivational talk. I totally love it. I'm relating. It's relatable, definitely relatable. Now let's head on to exercise, of course.
Bewa, we go live. Okay, see? Boom. Let's go. All right. And let's go. Pop. Feed yourself. Oh. Let's go. Feed yourself. Open.
So did you join in? Were you part of the exercise? So the questions, you know the answers, right? Welcome back from exercising. This is Good Morning Abuja on NTH and the 5 Unity station. Yes, we are on your screen. So make sure you start your day on a beautiful note. Now it is time for us to take our first break on the show. When we come back, you'll be meeting our guests. We'll have interesting conversation. So go nowhere.
This is called the police.
Live on the Unity Station, NTA Channel 5 Abuja.
The least you and I can do
is to assist them by making security our primary concern.
Security is everyone's business. This is why NTA Channel 5 Abuja is collaborating with the FCT Police Command in providing a weekly platform for up-to-date security check in the FCT. Join us for the real information every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity Station.
If you're just joining, welcome back from that break. This is Good Morning Abuja on NTH and 5, the Unity Station. We are here to have a conversation that concerns everyone in FCT and even in Nigeria. Beyond, yes. This morning we are being joined by the head operations NEMA, Mr. Zachary Abubakar. He's here to talk to us about the flood preparedness and community safety. We know NEMA, they have a lot on their shoulders, especially with the prediction of the flooding in FCT and other parts of Nigeria. Let's get to talk to him and know what they are doing, community safety, and so much more. If I'm meeting for the first time, my name is Uloma Ibe. You're welcome. Please help me make welcome the head operations of NEMA. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, madam. My name is Zachary Abubakar. I head the NEMA Abuja Operation Office. Thank you, viewers. Good morning.
Good to have you, sir. I know you have a lot on your table as the head of operations. I mean, this is the season. The season is upon us. What are you doing? How prepared are you with all of the predictions we've heard? Let's talk about the preparedness again.
Thank you very much, madam, for having me this morning. National Emergency Management Agency is an agency of federal government of Nigeria responsible for the management of disaster. And by the act establishing the agency, Act 12, amended by Act 50 of 1999, we are saddled with the responsibility to coordinate all the necessary structures, resources, systems to manage disaster. And by that, we are always very prepared, not just for flooding alone, disasters. Is it fire outbreak? Is it building collapse? Is it road crash? Name them. We are prepared to, by our mandate, try as much as possible to see how we can prevent the disasters from occurring. And if they must occur, we must get prepared to see how we can manage the situation, how we can respond, and also activate necessary structures to mitigate, that is, reducing the impact of these disasters. And also try to see how we can collaborate with the relevant stakeholders to bring people out of this effect of the disaster that has taken place. So we are very much prepared as an agency.
Okay, how far? Have you been doing? Have you had a lot of distress calls already? Because this is July and the rains are picking up.
Yeah, fortunately for FCT in particular, where we are based, NIMET and NIHSA. NIMET is Nigeria Meteorological Agency. They released the seasonal climate prediction early this year, and also the National Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency released the annual flood outlook. And from this prediction, we're avail of those communities, those local governments that will actually be flooded this year. Unfortunately, FCT is one of those states with a high flood risk. Yeah, a high flood risk because in Nigeria as a whole, we have 33 states that are including FCT that have high flood risk. So FCT happens to be one of those states with this risk. And having gotten knowledge of the prediction, as communicated by NIMET and NIHSA, and Nigeria National Emergency Management Agency, as quickly as possible, organized an expert meeting where critical stakeholders that have role to play in disaster management
Nice.
were invited into a meeting at national level
Oh,
to
good.
actually review the implication of this prediction as released by NIMET and NIHSA.
Nasa.
And they were able to sit down with all these critical stakeholders and develop strategies that will be deployed. Number one, to mitigate the impact of this flooding
Flooding.
as predicted, and also try to see how we can alert all the relevant stakeholders, including those communities that are vulnerable to flooding, to try to sensitize them so that they will be aware of the risk ahead of us.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about your collaboration with communities, their safety. How do you when the flood starts, probably you were in your office and you got the call. But before it starts, there are people in that community. Do you train people at the community level to know like a first aid safety measure before you come in as professional bodies?
Yeah, so I just talked about this expert meeting
Meeting.
that we had at national level. It doesn't stop there.
Yeah,
We
okay.
cascade it to
Community
the
level.
state level.
Oh, nice.
Like we have what is called the SEMA at state level, but
Yes.
in FCT here it's called the FEMA,
FEMA.
FCT Emergency Management Agency. At that level, at FCT level, we invited all the critical stakeholders again to come together, sensitize them, alert them, let them be aware of these warnings as released by NIMET and NIHSA, so that everybody will be on his toes to know what we are expecting
To do.
vis-a-vis flooding in this year 2026.
Okay.
And that is at state level. And then we now cascade, we go further to the local government level. In the FCT, we call it the area councils, where we have what is called local emergency management committees. Local emergency management committees are actually like a replica of NEMA. Why NEMA is at
The FCT
national level,
This one is
FEMA is
local
at state,
level.
this one at local level.
Okay,
So we
nice.
have that structure in place that also have membership from relevant agencies, departments to coordinate actions, to coordinate so many structures and systems that need to be activated. Number one, to prevent this flooding from taking place, and if it's going to occur, let's see how this at that level to also mitigate the impact of this flooding. So at that local government level, we have so many agencies that were, and at that level, vulnerable communities are identified. For example, now in FCT, we have 3 area councils that are on the very high flood risk areas. We have the Gwagwalada, we have the Kwale, and we have the Abaji. So communities in these area councils have already been identified. Training is already going on, involving the critical stakeholders, including the town crier, to help us,
Make announcements.
thank you very much. Spread these early warning messages to the grassroots so that the people that are concerned will get this information as quickly as possible and begin to prepare for the impending risk ahead of us.
Okay, this area councils.
The training is not just on letting them know that they are prone to flooding,
Okay.
but we also try to develop their capacity to see how they can also respond at their level before help can come from either FEMA or from NEMA. But at that level too, they should have some requisite capacity in terms of provision of first aid to people who might be trapped, people, a way of also evacuating them from flooded communities and the rest. So we try to empower them, try to build their capacity to be able to handle these activities.
I like the collaboration you're doing, because at the local level it's so important. Let's talk about this area councils you mentioned. Are there things you believe they should do to prevent this flood? Like already you've trained them. Are there things they need to do on their own, like a preventive measure before this flooding?
Yes, disaster management thrives on collaboration. Everybody has role to play at local government level and in FCT, the area council level. It's expected that this sensitization that we just mentioned should be an ongoing thing, so that all those communities should be aware of the impending risk. At the same time, the training should continue so that they'll have what is expected of them in case of flooding. And very, very important again, those drivers of flooding should also be attended to. By drivers of flood, we mean those things that actually facilitate or enhance flooding, like indiscriminate dumping of refuse in drainages. We try to make sure that this message is passed across the residents of those communities so that, as a matter of fact, they should start clearing those drainages, disrupting the drainages, and also very importantly, building on floodplains again, something that is becoming very, very common.
Building on where?
Building, erecting structures on floodplain.
Flood.
We
Okay.
identified as one of those critical things that is
On the
actually-
waterways.
Yes, so we also try to see how we can educate people to discourage from that. And then this when we need a very strong collaboration from various approval authorities, like we have the AMAC, we have the development control. So we try to ensure that whoever is going to erect any structure, the place should be properly certified to be far away from floodplain. So that because you are encroaching into floodplain, definitely water will find its way. And if you try to block the natural channel of water, it will get diverted, and maybe that's the diverted water that will not go into the communities and cause flooding. So we strongly advocate and encourage residents of this community to continue to clear their drainages, avoid indiscriminate dumping of waste in drainages, stop encouraging into floodplains, don't erect structures without approval from relevant authorities.
Interesting. I know NEMA is doing a whole lot. This is a new year, this 2026. Are there things you did last year that helped to salvage the situation that you would have done better this year?
Yeah, what we did last year, we're very, very fortunate to have a more precise prediction last year because the prediction for last year didn't just stop at a national level. We were able to identify the states that were likely to be flooded as of last year, the local government that were flooded, down to the communities that will be flooded.
Nice.
So those early
warning
signs were actually very helpful in determining where to concentrate our effort. That was last year, and the same thing is being replicated this year. And that's why I was able to tell you that this year again, the high flood risk areas are the 3 area councils that I mentioned earlier, and we're concentrating much effort to see how we can, as a matter of fact, mitigate the impact of this flooding in those communities under these area councils. Yeah, we're also trying to, in collaboration with FEMA, are developing what we call the emergency evacuation plan, so that those people that are prone to this flooding can be evacuated in dignity, so that the impact of this flooding on them will still be minimized.
Let's talk about how NEMA works with FCT Administration Council to ensure that your blueprint, your job, what you want to do is delivered without any issue, I don't want to use the word drama, any delay. You know what you want to do. You know that this place, it's a water wave, and you've identified that. Is always cooperation, or do we have delays, lingering conversation, ongoing, and leading to delay?
Yeah, for us in NEMA, we have a very strong collaboration with FEMA. FEMA has actually been like a window opener that gives us access to whatever we want to do in FCT.
Okay.
So because of that strong collaboration, we're able to, roll out our activities, our program as seamlessly as possible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that the floods are here, and let's talk about the progress level. How has it been? The communities you've already identified, the area councils, the Gwagwalada, the Abaje, and the other one you mentioned, Kwali. How is it going? Have you got response? The people you train, are they delivering? Are they doing well?
Yeah, like I told you, the sensitization is still ongoing. We're trying to conscientize them so that they will know of the impending risk. And in this phase of disaster management that is called sensitization, we require all hands on deck. We require collaboration with all the critical stakeholders, including the organization, to help us spread the early warning messages to them, so that everybody will be aware of the risk within his or her domain.
Let's talk about practical steps that are supposed to be taken by these communities that have flood-prone areas, the residents themselves. What are the practical steps? I know you've mentioned indiscriminate dumping of refuse. Are there other things they need to do?
Yeah, now, number one, like I'm happy to mention that in one of these area council, just last week, I saw an area council chairman himself supervising the clearing of a drainage.
Oh, nice.
In fact, it's Buhari area council. supervising the clearing of drainages, desilting of the drainage to ensure that those drainages are clear of those debris. Because if you don't do that, definitely when water will come, the flooding
Will
actually
get
will
worse.
get worse. So that one is ongoing. And in terms of practical steps, again, what is most important if you are solicitor, you already have information on the impending risk that is ahead of you. You should, as a matter of fact, know what to do when it happens. And that's why we keep encouraging residents of every community that we have contact numbers that you can reach in case you are overwhelmed.
Okay, would you love to share the contact number
Yeah,
before
yeah, yeah.
we
For
wrap up the
for for for
conversation?
NEMA, we have 0800
Okay.
22556362. It's called 0800 call NEMA.
0800 call
Call
NEMA.
NEMA, yes.
Okay.
If you find yourself in a distress situation, if you call that number, somebody will have a call center that operates 24 hours for the whole day, and somebody must definitely be on ground to pick and respond to whatever the situation is. So that line has been open, and we're also, with your collaboration too, we've been we have jingles in the print and the electronic and whatever needed to see how we can also sensitize the resident, not just FCT, but Nigerian
As a whole.
society, yes, as a whole.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What's your parting word to everyone seeing you at this morning at consigning flood as we say our buys on the show?
Yeah, disaster preparedness. In this context, flood preparedness, effective flood preparedness and mitigation requires a collaborative effort. So please, let's all join hands together to see how in FCT and Nigeria as a whole mitigate the impact of this flooding that has been predicted.
Thank you very much for coming on the show this morning. We appreciate um, your explanations and your efforts, what you do, and for the fact that you're collaborating to the point of getting down to the community is a huge impact you're doing. Well done on that job. Well done.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you, Nigerians.
On that note, we want to take a breather. When we come back, the show continues.
I welcome you on today's ride on the show Good Morning Abuja.
This is Window on Abuja.
We have everything it takes to compete with any nation all across the world.
How do we make it? We are not ready to produce.
I've been contributing to the development of your kingdom.
They know my story.
Hello and welcome to Young Hearts.
Our focus today will be on hepatitis B.
Ladylike.
In the 14th century, 15th, 16th century, and even 17th.
That is for zakah to cure our greed.
The purpose why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to create humanity.
The Bible talks about a man called Apollos.
This is NTA Abuja Channel 5.
See you same time.
Welcome back from that breather. This is still Good Morning Abuja on NTH channel 5, the Unity Station. You know, we have you at heart, so we'll keep bringing conversation that we're going to learn from, all right? So this morning, we are being joined by Mr. David Tuna. He is head GIS Remote Sensing Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency to talk to us on flood outlook, early warning sign, and flood risk assessments. This will be the conversation this morning. Of course, we've seen across Nigeria how the flooding it's I don't know, it's gaining momentum. Not a good momentum. It's not supposed to be so, but it is so. Let's talk with him and know what he will prefer as a solution to us. Welcome, Mr. David Tuna.
Thank you so much. I am happy to be here.
Okay, good to have you. So let's talk about let's get into this conversation by getting to know what are the early warning signs concerning flooding.
Okay, thank you. Just before I respond to that question, I would like to bring regards from my Director General and CEO in person of Ibrahim, Umar Ibrahim Mohammed. He sent his regards as well as the entire staff of Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, NIHSA. Sometime this year, in April, NIHSA, we forecasted certain areas in Nigeria to be affected by flood. This forecast is usually annual and called the Annual Flood Outlook, AFO. And we forecasted that 33 states and the FCT are at high risk of flooding in the year 2025. There are still states that are identified to be at medium risk and states that are identified to be low risk. Now, all of these states, whichever category they fall under, are to expect flooding, right? And over years, we've understood that our modeling has been improving, and we've been monitoring and observing these models, and we get to see some level of improvement. Now, signs for flooding, early warning, in most cases, right, I would want to say that we should expect it, especially within the lean season.
Within the lean season?
Yeah, within the raining season.
Okay, the rainy season.
Yes.
Okay.
So NIHSA weekly issue out forecast, and I want to believe forecast is coming out this morning as we speak. Weekly, during this raining season, NIHSA issues out weekly forecast.
Oh, nice. In addition to the annual?
In addition to the annual forecast.
Wow.
So there's also weekly forecast that comes up just to guide our partners and even the public in general on next action to take. And this forecast, we don't just give it in an ambiguous state. We try to narrow it down and scale it down to the very community that is to be affected by flood.
That's good.
And we share this nationwide. So we have, they come in two forms, the national advisory and the state-wise advisory. So that for the national advisory is just to get a glimpse of the situation nationwide. And then the state advisory is pinpointing it down to the very communities that are to be at risk. And we didn't just stop at communities. We also looked at other sectors that may be at risk of this flooding, like healthcare, educational facilities, commercial centers, markets, and the rest of them. We identify these locations that may be of impact, and we also distribute around just to see to it that the nation gets prepared before we get to see this flooding.
Interesting. I like what you do. That's a great job. I mean, to the point that you even pinpoint places, commercial places like school, hospitals, and all that. Now, aside this pinpointing, what's the next action? Let's say you've identified a school that is supposed to be flooded. What do you think the people should do? Most times we delay, we wait for it to happen before we evacuate. What would you recommend as a professional?
Okay, these models, apart from giving this 7 days forecast, these models can even go way beyond 7 days, can give up to 3 days forecast. But hydrologically and scientifically, we usually advise to give it 7 days for preparations, right? And we expect, right, those that are around these vulnerable areas to move to higher grounds, okay, immediately. That should be the first next step. Immediately, even before any other action is taken. Move to higher grounds. If you can take some properties with you, beautiful. Take properties with you. First things first, we ensure that life is saved before we try to do any other adjustments and trying to pinpoint if it is the rains that were intense or it is the drainages that were blocked. Even before all of that, first things first, move to higher grounds, get to safety. Then any other measures can also be looked into.
Can we ever have a permanent solution to flooding?
Sadly, no. flooding is it's a natural disaster, and in as much as it's a natural disaster, it can be aggravated by human activities. But because it's a natural disaster, you can't entirely eliminate it, but you can manage it.
You can manage it.
You can get prepared for it. Sometimes even turn these disasters into something of benefit, economic value. There are other strategies. NIHSA, my agency, particularly my Director General, has pointed out and started some pilot projects to see that we convert this menace, this flooding, into good, right?
Into good?
Yes, into good. In cases like there's a project, right, that we are trying to showcase to state governors, and we are hoping state governors key into it. Several projects. I will start with one, the aqueduct, right? What this does is it's like a massive drainage system, right? We pinpoint, because we have history of locations of where this flooding happens, right? State governments can key into this by diverting locations where this flood water comes in, creates more like some drains, channels, right? Channel this flood water where people beside these channels can use it for either irrigation and the rest of it. And we expect these flood waters to be flowing, right? Similar cases have been done somewhere around the world, particularly somewhere around Egypt, right, where they overlaid some panels, solar panels, on some of these to generate electricity for irrigation, sometimes even for recreational activities. This can be done, right? And apart from that, there's also a project that he's piloting as well called the National Flood Insurance Scheme, right, where we use metrics from our analysis to identify best insurance that can come in. What this does is, after identifying locations that may be affected by flood, right, from our analysis and level of quantification, we quantify these losses, and insurance be given to those who are affected even before the flood happens, so that when this flood happens, they can have something to fall back to, right? Several projects like that and initiatives that NIHSA is bringing out to state governors to key into and see how we can not see flooding as a disaster anymore, but a means of opportunity.
Okay. In your predictions, have there been a time where, let's say, the local government you predicted to be flooding, to experience flooding this year, and the next rainy season is not going to be flooded? Have you had a situation like that?
Yes. If we can predict flooding 100%, we have moved beyond humanity itself, right? Flooding is we are supposed to improve on level of performance. We are trying to achieve, yes, 100%, in as much as we know we can attain it, but getting over 90% is a good sign. WMO, our global partner, gave a recommendation of about 60%. So what this means is, when you can forecast flood and getting an accuracy of over 60%, your model is performing very good on global standard, right? And for us in Nigeria, NIHSA particularly, we've observed that our models have attained 86% accuracy over the global standard. So this puts us on an edge. Let me give you a little story of what happened sometime in Mokwa. NIHSA forecasted Mokwa to flood, but our forecast stopped at moderate. And from those who were affected, they will definitely tell you it was not anywhere close to moderate. It was very high. And at first, we started blaming our models. Does these models need recalibration? Is something wrong with the model? Do we need some things? And particularly my DG, we had to visit Mokwa. Immediately, he had to visit Mokwa.
You tell us the story when we take this break and come back.
Thank you so much.
All right, so you're still watching Good Morning Abuja on NIHSA, the Unity Station. I'm sure you're learning from this conversation. Yes. We'll take this break. When we come back, he's still here to want to hear the end of that story, right? Stay with us.
You're welcome to another wonderful episode of the #1
program for women by the women daily life.
I learned it in art class in school, but they only taught us the basic of crocheting in school, and I was very interested and fascinated by it.
For the women, we are, let us talk from our own part of the world. You are a woman, there is so much expectation.
Since on that very lovely and light note, I want to thank you for being with us. And tune in same time, same station next week on your number one station, Channel 5 Abuja. Today is Tuesday, the time is 7:30.
Welcome back from that break. I still have Mr. David Tuner talking about warning signs, early warning signs concerning flooding and the high risk. And we'll go back to that story on Mokwa. Let's hear the end.
Yes, so we visited Mokwa. We had so many questions in mind, right? How did the flooding happen?
Why did it go beyond moderate?
Why did it go beyond moderate? What is wrong? We visited there immediately. He was so worried. And when we got there, there are some things we got to identify. Majorly, we got to realize that human activities influenced it. Now, without blames to the citizens of Mokwa, no. We got to realize that there was a railway, right, that cuts through the upper part of Mokwa, right? And that railway cuts through Mokwa. There's a river that passes through Mokwa itself, right into the city of Mokwa. Now, that railway was built higher above the city of Mokwa with some culverts. Over time, over years, culverts got blocked. And then behind this railway that was built very high over the city of Mokwa, water started impounding, creating more like a mini dam. When we visited there, residents kept saying that it's definitely a dam. This level of water cannot just be
flooding.
Yes, from maybe rainfall or any other thing. That the level of water that flooded the city was so intense. And then we had to use some satellite imageries to do some level of comparison, a before and after effect. We visited there. We got to realize that there was massive impoundment of water just behind Mokwa, right? Because these culverts were blocked. And the culverts were not just blocked over 1 year or 3 months. No, it was blocked for over 10 years.
Over 10 years.
Creating a massive impoundment of water.
And the people didn't notice.
None. And, so over years, I think a lot of people possibly just put it behind their minds that possibly the river is not just flowing anymore and all of that. I mean, something that has been happening over time. You can't blame people for getting used to and adapting to the situation. And then this impoundment started eating up
the culverts.
Yes, the culverts built. The railway was not built on direct concrete. It was built on laterite with a culvert because the river was supposed to be a seasonal river, not perennial, meaning it only flows during rainy season. After the rainy season, it dries up. So they just put a culvert there just for this seasonal flow, and it got blocked, impounded, started eating up this laterite over time, and then when it broke out, it swept up the entire city. And lots of houses have already been built on this floodplain, clustered on it, lots of houses, and then it swept it to the entire foundation. It was terrible. It was a terrible situation with over hundreds of homes leveled flat.
Sad.
It was a sad situation. And then we got to realize that a lot of times human activities, right, have a way of intensifying the effects of this
When you
flooding.
say human activities, can you give us some example?
Okay, basic example that a lot of us should know by now through sensitization. Basic examples like blockage of drainages.
Blockage of drainages.
It is no matter how little it may happen. It is a terrible situation. By little dumping of plastic here and there, right? It doesn't just happen at a location. When rain falls, and this water sweeps off all of this plastic.
Takes it to another location.
Takes it to another location and go and block some drainages there. Okay, so that is what happens. No matter how little, this attitude of throwing things away, throwing them in gutters, in drainages, it's a terrible situation, right? And then another thing that can also happen through human activities is unplanned development. When I say unplanned, right, I'm really hoping that my agency gets enough publicity as it can get, because sometimes there are some construction agencies or companies that go ahead into construction without consulting the agency first, because we have mapped out all vulnerable areas.
So your agency is supposed to be consulted first?
Yes.
Before any building?
Not any building, but particularly identifying the vulnerable areas within a community, so as to properly map out where buildings are not supposed to
the waterways.
Exactly. And also give an estimate of the volume of water that may be passing through a city or a riverine area. So all of this information should be added to all other information that construction companies use. So without discrediting their work, I mean, they are doing amazing. They are doing a very, very good job. But just to improve the performance of...
Like collaborate?
Yes, more like it. Come to NIHSA, get some of our publications, ask for information about communities, cities. We have mapped out all vulnerable areas. We know the inflow in a year of rivers in Nigeria, and we can map it out. This information can be gotten just asking NIHSA, right? So we can improve on this.
Without charges?
I think that would have to speak with the agency on it.
Okay.
However, for all government constructions, no charges, right? For government projects as well as research projects, there are no charges for it, because these are developmental projects. These are projects that will develop the country. So there are no charges attributed to it for our government partners. So we give out this information. We want this information to go out, because this information ought to save lives and property. So we want them to go out. So yes, it is possible to minimize this flooding. It is possible with proper guidance to put this flooding to its barest minimum.
What would you advise as a professional when you're staying in a flooded area, because the floods are here, the rains are here, you relocate and leave that particular environment? Would you advise the person to come back when it's dry season?
This is a very interesting question, because this question is similar to some of the questions or some of the situations that happen, especially around riverine areas, where people residing in these riverine areas have built their livelihood right around
that place,
that location, and they can't just leave, right? Because that is their life. That is what they survive on. So, however the situation may be, we always advise. When our forecast is issued, we always urge to evacuate.
Evacuate.
Right? Because sometimes this flooding cannot the pattern to which it takes sometimes
cannot be predicted.
Or I'll just say difficult to be predicted. We can predict it will happen, but pattern to which it will take might change.
Might change.
Right? And so it is just best to evacuate that area. And then, of course, you come back after the flooding. After the raining season is over, you can come back and continue your livelihood. Then the moment we issue forecast, we urge everybody to evacuate that area. It is very important.
Thank you very much for what you do. Your organization is doing well. I mean, predicting to the point of location, it's something huge. Well done on that. As we wrap up this conversation, what will be your message to Nigerians regarding flood and the warning signs?
We shouldn't look at flooding as a disaster. If managed properly, flooding can be a means of opportunity. It can improve economical value within communities. But without proper actions, flooding is a disaster, right? So we urge everybody to always look at the forecast from NIHSA, importantly, and the moment your community is identified to be flooded, please evacuate.
Where do we get your forecast? One more thing.
Okay, you can get it from the NIHSA website, www.nihsa.gov.ng.
Please take that again.
www.nihsa, called NIHSA, nihsa.gov.ng. We have a dashboard. It is interactive. You can see your location. You can get to see the extent to which this flood water will take. There are lots of information that will guide you. There are information about weekly forecasts and all of that will guide you.
Thank you very much, Mr. David Tona, for
Thank
coming
you
on
so
the show
much.
this morning. Well done once again on what you do. And on that note, we want to take a break. I mean, you've learned so much, right? I've also learned. We want to take a break. When we come back, the show continues. Please stay here with us.
I don't know what it is, but she drives me crazy.
Marriage, a beautiful bond, but not without its battles. Behind every smile is a story. Behind every I do is a journey. Mr. and Mrs., the show that peels back the curtain on real relationships. No scripts, no filters, just truth.
I've become a better husband because I've learned a lot from the mistake of the past.
I had feelings, but I wanted to be sure.
Do I have to kneel down to marry a woman?
No, but just do the right.
Join us every week as we sit down with real couples to talk about the raw, the real, and the redemptive side of marriages. From newlyweds to seasoned partners of 40 years plus, no topic is off limits.
Have you ever been in love?
At the end of the year, he came to the village. I saw, oh, this is the brother I saw that time. He said, please, I want to marry you.
This is modern entertainment. It's an invitation to grow, to heal, and to love again. Mr. and Mrs. is about real love, real struggles, and real hope. Every couple has a story. What's yours? Join us on NTA Channel 5, the Unity Station, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m.
'Cause all of me loves all of you.
Welcome back from that break. Interesting conversation we just had. Let's digest this conversation with music. Let's chill. Let's vibe. Of course, it's a good idea to dance in the morning. Let's enjoy this music. When we come back, we'll continue from here.
Oh, baby, listen. I didn't mean to fall in love, but your eyes got me giving up. Every wall that I built so high came crashing down tonight. I didn't mean to lose control. Now you're living inside my soul. Every heartbeat calling your name, and I'll never be the same. I was doing fine on my own, never thought I'd need someone. Then you came and changed my world like the morning sun. Every laugh, every touch got me wanting you so much. Now I see the future clear whenever you are near. Girl, you got me feeling things that I've never felt before. Every moment that we share makes me want you more. I didn't mean to fall in love, but your eyes got me giving up. Every wall that I built so high.
Welcome back from dancing, from vibing, from enjoying good music. Up next on our lineup is What the Kids Can Do, a segment that shows you the creativity of children. If you're a parent and you're bent on, there must be a medical doctor, she must be a lawyer, she must be a nurse, you will have a rethink after seeing this segment. Yes, amazing creativity displayed by these young ones. So it is left for you as a mother, as a father, to support them, to encourage them, to applaud them, and make them be consistent on what they do. Imagine what they're doing at this tender age. Imagine continuing this in the next 10 years, 15 years. I mean, the sky will just be their starting point, not just their limit. So it is time for us to see what the weather is saying. Up next is weather updates. All of this conversation you've heard. Anyways, you've seen what the weather is saying, so prepare yourself. We've talked about preparing, the warning sign, flooding, and all of that. Now it is weather updates. You've seen what the weather is saying, so you can just prepare yourself and get ready before you hit the road. All right, so on that note, it's a wrap on Good Morning Abuja this morning. I want to thank our guests that spoke on preparedness, flooding preparedness, early warning signs, and all of these things are tilting towards the flooding. Yes, of course, we know the prediction, 33 states were predicted. Last week, we saw a terrible raining, we saw a terrible flooded places in Akwa Ibom State and other states. So it is time for us to prepare. Yes, we have to prepare. We have a part to play. What is our role? Please do not trash your dustbin when it's raining. It's not when it's raining that you don't carry your basket, you want to go and trash your dustbin. It's not a good thing. Do not block the drainage system. Allow the water to flow effortlessly. As you do this, you're putting yourself, your neighbors, your family members at risk. Yes, it's not a good thing. So we've heard the professionals, we've heard their counsel, we've heard their advice. Let's adhere and make our communities, our streets, our environment a better place. Let's make them a better place. My name is Uloma Ibe. I'm thanking you for being part of this show this morning. Thank you, and I'm wishing you a fabulous Tuesday. Good morning. Have a nice day ahead.